Massachusetts. Law students can go right into court and defend their clients, take a case all the way, win or lose. Today's law student wants real action, and he's getting it. Not in the classroom or out of books, but in our courts, helping people who need legal services. These students are doing it at the neighborhood law office. They're lawyers. They're young lawyers.
An Eskimo hunter. See, he's sitting by that hole he made in the ice.
Hey, Louise, that social worker lady, she's back again, and this time she's got a cup.
Over on the picture of the Eskimo sitting by the hole in the ice, just waiting. Stuart, the social worker's back with the cop.
I'm not taking John. Get hold of that lawyer. It's Aaron Silverman.
Louise Grafton, you remember us, don't you?
Of course I remember you, that beautiful lady with a boyfriend named Stuart and a son named John.
Right. You told us to call you if that social worker ever came back again. Well, she's here with a cop.
Is she there for your child? All right. Listen, Louise, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get a restraining order. It's going to take me a little while, so you hold on, all right?
How am I supposed to get him out of the house?
By being calm and cool. Listen, Louise, if the police try to force their way in the house, you let them do it, all right? Because they have the legal right. You understand that, Louise? Louise, you understand that?
Okay.
I'll be right there. Bye-bye. You're not coming in.
You must try to understand. There have been a series of complaints. Louise, I have a court order. Now, you'll have to let us take custody of your son until there can be a hearing. It's a matter of a few days.
Now, we do it the easy way, or...
Please. Threats are not going to get us anywhere. Look, we'll give you a little time to explain to your son what's happening, so he can get used to the idea. Now, that's only fair.
Look, the court order says they have to surrender the child, and that's what they're going to have to do. Now, if I have to get a couple of more officers here to help me enforce that order, I'll do that too.
My client will request that you hear the evidence of 3 witnesses before you hear the testimony.
I need a restraining order to block temporary custody order on my client's child.
Simple procedure.
No, this sounds a bit
I need it right away. They're going to take the child away in 15 minutes.
Feels that
We better get moving.
if you hear the testimony of the social
Why kid yourself? You know he's not going to let us in.
It's not as though you're facing a bunch of criminals.
Arnold, they've come for John.
Well, they're recruiting kind of young, aren't they?
You don't want violence. I know you don't. Please get Louise to bring your son.
Your time's up, friend. You can open the door or not.
Please get Louise to bring him.
I'm Aaron Silverman. I'm with the neighborhood law office. You must be from the social welfare department.
Yes, I'm Miss Emerson.
Well, how do you do? It's very nice to meet you. I have a temporary restraining order which requires you to leave the boy, John, with his mom until a formal custody hearing can be held. I'm sorry to have caused you so much trouble.
Oh, Mr. Silverman, I love you.
We're very grateful, Aaron.
Well, I appreciate that, too. But I don't understand. I told you to stay out of trouble. I told you that if you got in any trouble, that lady from the social welfare department would be here in 2 minutes and you'd lose your child.
Well, we did that.
Listen, last night there was a stranger outside, some guy from out of town, and, well, he was zonked out of his mind, so he made an incredible amount of noise. I guess he was hallucinating or something. We wanted to get him inside, you know, and try and call somebody to get some kind of help.
Impossible. He was on a bad trip.
Right. So in the end, the police come, right? They throw a net over the guy and put him in the wagon.
They turned the place upside down looking for stuff, but they didn't find any.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy for you that they didn't find anything. Do you have any idea? Did the police tell you who made the complaint?
No.
Oh, it's Mother Earth across the street. She's the same one who complained before. She complains about us every day. She hates us.
She is a character.
Character? She's a professional crank. Mrs. Whitley.
She's a creep.
Listen, I don't mean to be rude to you two, but I want to speak to you. Is there some place we can go and talk privately?
Our room.
I like this one. I really do.
Make an offer. I'm a pushover.
Well, I can't afford it right now, but someday I'm liable to come in here and I'm liable to give you some money and walk out with that painting. Why don't you two just do it? Why don't you get married and make life easy for yourselves?
Everybody gets hung up on that. You're hung up on it, too.
That doesn't answer my question.
It just never seemed important that we should get married. Hey, are you moving in?
No.
Can you stay for dinner?
No.
I wish you would.
I wish I could.
We just wanted to see if you were still here and if everything was okay.
Everything's okay.
Everything's fine. We were just a little bit worried. Things might have gone bad.
It's really a beautiful child.
Thank you.
You're really lucky.
I know.
Do you get a job yet, Stuart?
No?
I think I've got one lined up.
Well, if you get a job, who's going to take care of your child?
One of the girls. There's always somebody here. They love taking care of him, actually. They do. What do you think's going to happen, Aaron?
Well, I know for sure there's going to be a custody hearing to determine whether or not you and Stuart are good parents, and whether or not this is a suitable environment to raise a child, and whether it's good for John to be living with parents who aren't married. That's what they're going to hit us with, and that's what we're going to have to beat, so to speak.
Who made the complaint?
Mrs. Whitley, a neighbor.
You talked to her?
No?
Oh, she seems to spend half of her life calling the welfare department and complaining.
Either of you met her?
No.
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 I'm in court tomorrow, Mr. Barrett.
Oh. Tomorrow morning, Pat, you and Aaron go down and talk to Mrs. Whitley. Now, you were explaining how you were going to assemble a case for your client.
Under the circumstances, I'm going to have to prove that Louise and Stuart are good parents despite the fact that they're not married.
Well, the precise issue at the hearing is whether Louise is a fit mother. The fact that they weren't married when the child was born gives the father no rights whatsoever as far as custody is concerned. His only obligation is to provide support for the child.
I don't have to prove that Louise is the greatest mother in the whole world.
Good. Now, how would he do that, Pat?
Well, first get a psychologist to interview Stuart, Louise, and the child, and hopefully come up with an outstanding recommendation for all of them, and especially for Louise.
Who's the weakest on the stand?
Stuart is the father of the child.
And the mother?
She's beautiful.
Now, what does that mean, exactly?
It means that she's warm and sympathetic, clearly loves her son, and that I like her very much.
And the boy?
He's bright. He's clean. At least every time I see him, he's clean. And he wears second-hand clothes, but I used to wear second-hand clothes when I was a kid, too.
Well, what about the father?
Stuart?
Yeah.
He's uptight, generally speaking. He's an artist. Actually, he's a pretty good artist. He doesn't sell very much. Sometimes he works to support his family, but generally speaking, he's uptight.
I don't. What do you think now?
Sounds familiar. I predict a sad ending.
Well, often in these cases, the children are sent to foster homes.
Unjustly.
I didn't say I like it, but that's the way these cases are handled.
And I didn't say you made the law. I just said it was unjust.
And I second it.
Why don't they get married?
Well, why'd you join the fraternity? Why don't you go out and buy yourself some bell-bottom pants and some beads? Why do you wear that striped tie and that button-down shirt and those big squeaky shoes? Don't mess with other people's lifestyle.
Oh, you're going to preserve their lifestyle, are you? And have them lose custody of their child?
Like the kids across the street, Mrs. Whitley.
But the fact remains, Mrs. Whitley, that you have reported them to the Department of Social Welfare several times.
Hey, we know that. The point is, why?
Well, there were so many things.
Well, such as, Mrs. Whitley, why don't you give me an example?
Well, the parties, all hours of the night and day. I'm surprised I don't have one going now. I guess it's because that social worker's been there.
Parties? Is there anything else?
They let that child run around with nothing on.
Oh, nudity.
That's it, Miss.
Walters.
Yes.
Nudity and party.
Yes, it's shocking. It's degenerate, actually. Yes, really degenerate.
Anything else?
The noise is deafening.
Well, Mrs. Whitley, now that doesn't necessarily make them bad parents.
Parents? Why, they're terrible parents. They're always having parties. I don't know where they get the energy. Well, actually, I do know where they get the energy. Drugs, I'll bet.
Hello. Welcome. Have you heard who'll hear the case in probate?
No. I didn't have time.
Oh, I had time. Why didn't you? It's your case.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just didn't have time.
Well, you've drawn Judge Novins.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you poor boy. Okay, he's tough. Maybe he's very tough. But if we concentrate on the issue, the welfare of the child, I think we'll make it.
Your clients better wear their straight clothes. Like mine, that is. Otherwise, Novins will postpone the case until they're presentable.
Well, I don't think there's much of a chance of that.
No, I think Mal's right. I've seen him do that at least twice that I can remember. Get him to dress for the occasion.
All right, I'll try to. Pat, did you talk to Louise about her religious affiliations or church?
Aaron, you keep looking for gimmicks.
Well, with Judge Novins, I have to have something.
They were childhood sweethearts, Stu and Louise. She said her parents were against her marrying Stu and having the child. And, well, her parents were against practically anything to do with Stu.
All right. I'm Judge Novins. Mal, you're the county attorney. Pat, you're the social worker. And Mr. Silverman, you are Mr. Silverman.
Your professional opinion of the living conditions this child is subjected to in that hippie commune.
Objection. I don't want to play this game.
Overruled. The place is a shabby, unclean, disorganized flophouse, according to Miss Emerson's report.
Miss Emerson?
In my opinion, the child has already been severely damaged.
Objection.
Damaged? How, Miss Emerson? Physically, morally, emotionally, psychologically?
You're leading the witness.
And that's exactly what Judge Novens will do.
Emotionally, morally, ethically, and nutritionally.
Objection. Miss Emerson is not an expert on ethics, morals, emotions, or nutrition.
The child is constantly exposed to foul language.
Foul language? I can quote you passages from the Bible that'll curl your hair. Some fathers call their kids son and chill their bones. Some mothers croon their children to sleep with obscenity. One parent's curse is another parent's endearment.
He is often fed unbalanced meals. Why, once I heard he ate cereal for 3 meals for several days.
But my dear, every spoonful was digested with love. You can stuff a child full of nourishment and forget he's alive for all of his childhood. You know what you end up with? A homicidal maniac with rosy cheeks.
Oh, the goofy hippies are the ones who take care of him. And they are constantly having emotional explosions, often induced by drugs.
But that is only hearsay, my dear, from the withered Miss Whitley from across the street. Now, if you want to condemn them for loving him and touching him and pummeling him and embracing him and pinching his bottom and making him aware that he's alive and beautiful and loved.
Mr. Silverman's plea is very touching, and would seem to suggest that after thousands of years of civilization, we finally stumbled over those attributes which qualify an elite few for ideal parenthood. And those attributes are poverty, malnutrition, the blessed state of extramarital freedom. How was it possible for the Christian establishment to have survived in spite of those unbearable amenities like plumbing and vitamins and the marriage license? Until Mr. Silverman apprised me, I wasn't aware that legitimate birth was a handicap. As I understand it, your premise is that only hippies are beautiful people. Ergo, non-hippies are dishonest, unjust, warlike, not with it, and just plain lousy parents. Is that your argument, Aaron? Or does it sound a little prejudiced, like Mrs. Whitley's? Are you so anxious to propound your personal feelings? Or are you going to help your client retain custody of her child?
What's the matter? We can't play music in our own house? No! What are you, crazy with that noise outside? You know what's going to happen? The cops are going to be here in 2 minutes, and 2 minutes after that, the social worker's going to be here, and 2 minutes after that, you're going to lose your child. And there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about it. Look, I didn't come here to bust up your party. I came here to tell you that I made an appointment with a psychologist to have you evaluated. You and Louise and your child. Here. Here's the address. What's the point of all this? Well, I thought maybe it would help your case.
I'm not going to be evaluated. Not me.
Oh, yes, you will. Oh, yes, you will. If you want to keep your child.
Yes, fire should be put out.
People could burn up.
Yes, if they don't get out of burning houses quickly, they could be burned.
Here comes the firemen. Everybody gonna put out the fire. Water deads the fire.
Yes. You're a good fireman.
Firemen get tired.
Oh, I know.
I don't have so many toys.
I do. I have a lot of toys.
I like them.
They're lots of fun.
I got real people to play with. Do you? Or just toys?
But it's true, isn't it? They'll take them away.
Is that what you're afraid will happen?
You know it's true.
Is that all you can say, Stuart?
Look, I'm sorry, but I just think we're wasting our time.
But what's the solution?
We could take off and get lost somewhere else.
Same thing would probably happen somewhere else.
It almost did before.
It's too bad you have to live this way.
We don't have to. We choose to.
Seems difficult, especially with a child. Be different if you didn't have John. Can you get help from your parents?
No.
My father has been divorced and married and divorced and married and divorced. He's got so much family all over the place, he doesn't know which way is up. And my mother married a guy with kids from his first marriage. Besides, we don't need their help.
Do you love each other?
Yes, I love Stuart.
I love Louise. And I love John. And I love freedom, too. And I don't want to get married. And Louise doesn't either.
Is that true?
He's taken good care of us since my parents threw us out, John and me. He's stuck by us, faithfully.
Has John had any serious illnesses or emotional disturbances?
No.
No.
Now, are there any other problems you two would like to discuss?
What kind of problems?
Well, any kind. Emotional, physical, sexual problems.
Well.
Well.
Oh.
Do you want to stay for dinner tonight?
Oh, yeah, I'd really like to, but I
I'm
can't.
cooking.
Well, you see, I'm still a student. I have exams in a couple of days, so I have to study.
Does that mean I'm not supposed to take it personally?
I wouldn't. Hey, I don't even know what your name is.
Nobody ever does. My name's Chicago.
Chicago. Chicago.
It's an Indian name.
Chicago, I think it's a very nice name.
Thank you. I'm not. I'm not an Indian. I think I'm German, part Polish, little Irish.
Pretty.
Something else.
You're pretty. Yeah, you really are. I mean it. You're really pretty.
Well, listen, if I'm so pretty, why don't you stay for dinner?
Because it's just like I told you back there. I have to
come
study.
on. Look, it's nothing personal, but just give me a hand with that stuff to the kitchen. Come on, silly guy.
Hey, Chicago?
Uh-huh?
If they don't come soon, I'm going to have to...
Stay for dinner.
I came here to see you, and you weren't here. You see, I had to talk to you before the hearing, and I might not have any other time.
Hey, what happened about that disturbing the peace citation we got last night?
Well, I had it taken care of. Thank you.
How's John? Oh, he's great. He's upstairs napping. Hey, I've got to do dinner.
I just can't stand the suspense anymore. What's for dinner?
Oh, well, it's just some stuff that's left over from last night, but it's really good. Can you do me up?
Sure.
You're welcome to share it.
Oh, I'd like to,
Well,
but I can't.
he'd like to, but, well, he can't. I mean, he'd really like to, and he's sorry, but he just can't.
Yeah, thank you very much. But I just can't.
I'll be in the kitchen, where my mother always said I'd end up.
Oh, she's wonderful. Hey, Stuart, would you do me a favor? Well, not really me a favor, but when you go in the court, would you wear your jacket and tie? It's really not for me. It's for the judge.
You better wake John up, otherwise he'll never get to sleep tonight. They're back again, that lady with the briefcase and the cup.
What? I told you.
You've got to talk to her, Aaron.
I will talk to her, but it's too late to get a restraining order, and I don't know if it's going to do anything.
Don't tell me you have another restraining order, Mr. Silverman.
Nope.
Well, I have another temporary custody order.
What's the problem this time, Miss Emerson? The hearing's in a couple of days. Don't you have anything else to do with your time?
Look, if you think I enjoy doing this...
Well, if you don't enjoy it, why are you doing it?
You're stalling, Silverman.
You know, most of the times it's lucky that I'm around to take custody of the child. The way some so-called parents abuse and neglect their children.
But that's not the case this time, is it?
Well, we don't know that, do we, yet, Mr. Silverman?
Quit stalling. We're not playing the same game we did last time. Now, you tell the parents to bring the boy out here right now.
What's going on?
Stu grabbed John. He ran out the back door.
What?
I said Stu grabbed John and ran out the back door.
Where'd he go, Louise?
Aaron, please take it easy. I'm trying to stop him, Aaron. I don't know.
Where'd he go, Louise? You tell me where he went, Louise. Where'd he take John? You can handle your own case, you understand? Where'd he go?
You talk about him. I don't know.
Where would you look, Louise? Where would you look, Louise? Where would you look, Louise?
I don't have any money. He's hiding. I'm taking a bus. I don't know, Aaron.
Let me have a cup of coffee. Thank you.
We're going north. To Canada. So don't get any funny ideas.
Well, I don't think that's a very good idea.
Look, it's no use. We'll never get a fair shake.
No, you won't. You won't get a fair shake like this.
Why don't you just shove off?
Sure. Pick up John and we'll take him to the social worker tonight. It'll only be a couple days until the hearing.
No chance.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to issue a warrant for your arrest. And they're going to fine you because I didn't have any trouble finding you. And then you can forget about keeping John.
It won't happen. We'll be out of the country by then.
No, it won't happen. Because I won't let it. John, you're going to have to be away from your mom and dad for a couple of days.
Stay back there.
But it's going to be all right because I'm going to take you to visit some real... No, you won't. Your dad wasn't hurting you. He just said he knows what I said is true. It pains your father. It makes him angry that you have to be away from him for even one night. But he knows it has to be. He loves you so much. He knows it has to be.
Just couldn't believe it. Also, the noise that came out of that house. I was across the street and it gave me headaches. I can imagine what it did to that poor child's ears. And the language I heard them using.
Objection, Your Honor. This hearing is for and about a 4-year-old boy named John. It is prejudicial of this witness or any other witness to refer to him as that poor child.
I suggest that you confine your efforts to attempting to prove that your client's worthy of having custody of the child, Mr. Silverman. instead of being oversensitive to the witness's feelings of concern for the child. Overruled.
Your Honor, I don't feel you understand.
Overruled.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Do you wish to cross-examine Mr. Silverman?
I do, if I may. Mrs. Whitley, how much time did you spend in the presence of the child, John?
Very little.
Approximately.
Once or twice I talked to him.
I'm sorry. I didn't make myself clear. I mean, how much time did you spend with the child?
Well, about 10 or 15 minutes.
And during that time, did you find the child to be starved, deprived, mistreated?
Honestly, no.
Thank you, Mrs. Whitley.
Miss Emerson, when was your attention first called to the child John Grafton Kelsey?
When several complaints were made to my office about the child's home.
And did you investigate the boy's home life?
Yes, I interviewed the boy's mother, and I spoke to several of the other people living in the house.
Relatives of the boy's parents?
No, just other people who live in the same house. It's a fairly typically run boarding house for young people.
Young, unmarried males and females living under the same roof with this 4-year-old boy and his parents?
Yes.
Are the boy's parents married?
According to what I was told by the boy's mother, Louise Grafton, no, they're not married.
Would you tell us what you observed when you were there the first time, Miss Emerson?
Well, the boy seemed to be in good health, although the day that I was there, his nose was running and he was sneezing a lot. His care and his feeding seemed to be the responsibility of not just the mother, Louise Grafton, but of several of the other young men and women living in the house. A situation which I believe to be confusing for a boy. However, he appeared to be normal and content.
Oh, why did you go there subsequently?
I went there twice, each time with a temporary custody order because of disturbances within the house requiring police action. Again, a situation which I think is disturbing and confusing for a child.
And what is your recommendation, Miss Emerson?
My recommendation is that foster parents are clearly indicated in this case.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Silverman?
Miss Emerson, on what do you base your recommendation?
On the facts that I perceived, Mr. Silverman. On the fact that the life in the home is improper for a young, very impressionable child. On the fact that the police frequently have to raid the house and make arrests. And on the fact that the child is not properly cared for, personally, regardless of the abundance of people living in the house.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Silverman, are you certain you've finished cross-examining the witness?
Yes, sir.
Why isn't Aaron going
Do the people have any more
cross-examine the witness?
Waste of time.
Is the counsel for Louise Grafton ready?
He's obviously a credible, sincere witness. We could never disprove a testimony.
I've been a practicing psychologist in the city for 15 years.
Dr. Rowe, have you recently examined Louise Grafton, Stuart Kelsey, and their son, John?
Yes, I have.
You heard Miss Emerson, the social worker on this case, state as a fact that John's environment was improper, damaging, and injurious. Do you feel this is true?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness statements must be based on facts, not on feelings.
Sustained.
Then in your professional opinion, do you feel that this is true?
Well, I found no evidence of that. The boy is very well adjusted to his home life. He's very aware of what's right and wrong. He's quite generous. He's very proud of his father. And apparently has benefited a great deal from having so many young people to play with and learn from.
And Louise and Stuart, do you think they're good parents?
I think they're above average parents.
About the fact that they're not married, do you think that this is disturbing in any way to their son, John?
It's had no effect on him whatsoever.
Objection. Of course it has no effect now. But what about when the boy starts school and he becomes aware that all his friends come from normal homes with normal parents?
Your Honor, this hearing is to determine proper custody now, not in the future.
The court's responsibility is to look at the whole picture for the child, present and future. Overruled.
Dr. Rowe, is it true that a great deal of the neurotic behavior in children occurs as a result of the of the parents' attitudes and behavior as much as anything else.
More than anything else.
Such as would occur when a boy discovered that his parents weren't married when he was born.
Objection, Your Honor.
Never bothered to get married even years after he was born.
Mr. Daly.
I withdraw the question, Your Honor.
But I request permission to answer.
Very well, Dr. Rowe.
It would depend on the child. If he had a healthy ego, he could handle it.
Your Honor, may we have a moment?
Of course, Mr. Barrett.
If the hearing ended now, we'd lose.
I think you're wrong. I think Dr. Rowe did us a lot of good.
Not as much good as Miss Emerson did them. You have any cards, you better play them now.
Just Louise. Louise is all I have left. Your Honor, I'd like to call Louise Grafton to the stand, please. Louise, do you feel Mrs. Whitley was justified in reporting you to the Department of Social Welfare?
Objection. Miss Grafton's opinion is irrelevant in this case, Your Honor.
Overruled. I'd like to hear Miss Grafton's answer.
By her standards, I guess she was justified.
Louise, do you think of yourself as a beautiful person? Beautiful meaning pure and honest and fair. Beautiful, that's what I mean by beautiful.
No. I'm me. Just trying to live my life as simply as possible. That's who I am.
Then would you mind clarifying for the court why you choose to live in that house with all those people?
I enjoy their company.
You take care of one another?
Well, yes.
But you don't seem to be doing a very good job of it. I mean, why do you live in that house with all that corruption and drugs and immorality? I mean, there's no reason to get upset. I'm just asking you, why do you subject your child to that environment? Why do you subject him to all that filth?
It's not like that at all.
I mean, why are you living there? Why do you subject your child to drug addicts and alcoholics and noise and police coming every night?
That's not true. That's not true. I'm trying to raise my son to be an honest, good, giving human being.
All right. We'll do the $2 thing. We'll get married, Your Honor, right now. I'll give you the $2 right now, and we'll get married.
Sit down, Mr. Kelsey. You're out of order. Mr. Silverman, your conduct is theatrical and unprofessional. I will not allow this to continue. You may be excused, Miss Grafton. Mr. Daly, will you sum up?
Yes, I'll be brief, Your Honor. The unmarried parents of this boy are living like carefree hippies do everywhere. We've seen it quite frequently in this court. Defiance of the laws, morals, decency. We contend that this is no life for a child. And I urge the court to place this boy in a proper home with responsible and decent foster parents.
Mr. Silverman.
Mr. Barrett, I'm afraid I'm going to blow it. I think you better do the summation.
You're not going to blow it.
Louise and Stuart live differently in that house. And most of us do. But it's obvious that their son, John, is thriving, not suffering, and obviously not deprived of anything that goes to make for a healthy, normal childhood, despite how unconventional his environment might be. Miss Emerson and Dr. Rowe both agree on one vital point. The only point that I feel is important in this case, and that is that the child is healthy and normal and apparently quite happy. What else is there? I mean, who is to judge what is the best way to raise a child? Can anyone say that? Isn't the condition of the child the only absolute basis for a decision, not a judgment of how the parents live? And the way Louise and Stuart feel about each other. That must come across to the child. He must understand how sincerely and how deeply they love him and each other. He must. I mean, what other reason would there be for him being so well adjusted, and normal, and content? There is no other reason. Therefore, I beg the court not to take the child, John, away from its mother.
We are told that the environment the child is in is unfit and improper. We are also told that the child is seemingly thriving in this environment. However, the mother and the child appear to the court to be in a corruptive environment. Now, running away from society, the law, is not the answer. Never. Continuing to live where the police are frequently having to investigate complaints of all sorts is not the answer either. Therefore, it is my decision that the custody of the child shall be temporarily held by the mother. Provided that she find a more suitable home in which to live. That is, away from such disruptive and troublemaking people. Now, this court shall retain its jurisdiction over John Grafton. And the very first time I hear a report of a disturbance in this new home, Louise Grafton will lose custody of her child. And without apologies, it is the express wish of this court that the child's mother find a father, a legal and legally responsible father for her child. This court will recess for 15 minutes before the next case.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, nobody's a friend of yours, but I still don't know. You have him call me and have him come in. Even though he doesn't have to make an appointment unless he wants to. Okay, bye-bye. Wow! Look at this.
You want to buy an original Kelsey?
Well, I'd love to buy an original Kelsey, but I don't know whether I can afford one.
$2.06.
You're going to do it? You're going to get married.
If you buy the painting.
$2.06? Do I get the frame with it?
Look, you frame that, we'll frame the license. Just like the judge said, I'm going to become a legal, responsible father.
Well, I think that's wonderful.
Thank you very much for everything, Aaron.
Take care of it now. Okay, Stuart.
Soon.
See this?
Wow.
Look at that.
Well, Matisse won't be jealous.
Well, who needs Matisse? I have an original Kelsey. And incidentally, so does he.
Now, stay tuned for our Big Stars Little Screen edition of The Wonders of TV Land. Next.
Nothing's too much for a winner, you dig?
Yeah, I can dig it.
Cookie?
Well, I was only seeing her to make Diana Ross jealous.
I'm an artist.